An extended version of this interview can be heard on my Patreon page at patreon.com/zestfulaging. The Patreon version includes sensitive material, so discretion is encouraged. Welcome to Zestful Aging, where I talk with fascinating and inspiring guests who are living their lives with vibrance and purpose. I'm your host, Nicole Christina, psychotherapist, author, and fellow Zestful Ager. And if you like the podcast, you'll love my companion online course, Zestful Aging, Simple and Sustainable Habits for Health and Longevity. And it comes with a 30-page companion manual. It's a blueprint for aging well. Because what good is living longer if we're not also healthy and happy? Find out more at NicoleChristina.com. Well, I've got my little Jack Russell Terrier Sparky right beside me, and I've got a cup of coffee in my hand, so let's begin. Tula Goenka is a filmmaker, author, human rights activist, and professor of television, radio, and film in the Cy Newhouse School of Public Communications at Syracuse University. As an editor, she's worked with filmmakers such as Spike Lee, James Ivory, and Mira Nair. Her own documentaries include Dancing on Mother Earth, the award-winning PBS feature about singer-songwriter Joanne Shenandoah. She's the founder and co-director of the annual Syracuse University Human Rights Film Festival. And born and raised in India, Goenka remains very involved in the South Asian community in the U.S. and has served on the boards of several international human rights organizations. She is a breast cancer survivor and the project director of the Look Now Project. Thank you so much for being here today, Tula.
Thank you for having me, Nicole.
You have so many interesting projects that you've worked on, and of course, I'd like to hear about each and every one. But the one that I thought we'd start with is the Look Now project. Can you talk a little bit about how that came about?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2006 and went through treatment. I had 2 lumpectomies, then I had chemotherapy, then I had a double mastectomy and reconstruction. So it was a long, drawn out process. And throughout it all, like most, I would say nearly everybody who faces it, you start questioning who you are as a woman, as a person. Your breasts have been removed, and the PTSD that you suffer from that process. So I had sort of, I was in that journey, and it was 2009. I walked into the Newhouse School where I teach, and in the lobby there was a large poster announcing that Christy Hefner, the publisher of Playboy, was coming to talk. And that really got me thinking about once again about what do breasts really mean in society, how society has really sexualized them. Their main purpose is to feed children, right? But they are really what society considers being feminine is about. And then I started thinking whether Playboy would ever put someone who has had silicone implants because of breast cancer surgery in their centerfold. As you know, Nicole, most women who are on the centerfold have silicone implants, but they're for a different reason. So all that combined was really the impetus for creating the project Look Now Facing Breast Cancer.
And I'm wondering too if this coincided with you being perhaps middle age, and those questions starting for many women to come up, like, my body's changing. I've had children. The whole question of, am I a sexual being? Am I looked at the same way? Was there some overlap with also being a middle aged woman? I'm wondering.
Yes, definitely. I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was relatively young. I was 44 years old. It was caught in a mammogram that I was having every 2 years. The scary thing is that now younger and younger women are getting diagnosed with it, in their 30s, and they don't, and insurance companies will not let them have a mammogram because they're considered too young. But that's a whole other thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's true. I was thinking about all that. What also happened with me, I had been married for nearly 20 years and in a relationship for 22 years with my husband. But going through breast cancer really changed a lot of things for us, and we ended up getting separated and then divorced a year later.
Mm.
It's been so I've been actually single for more than 10 years now, and no one has seen my breasts. No man has seen my breasts apart from my doctors, I should say. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so so one of the questions I do ask women who have participated in the project is about feeling sexy and their sexuality, etc. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you know, I was at your opening, and I was really struck by the absolute vulnerability of having a professional photographer take a photo in absolute detail. There was nothing shrouded or there was not fuzzy. It was just a straight on shot of your participants' altered breasts, including your own. Can you talk a little bit about how your participants felt about that?
Um, I had done a prototype of the project in 2010. So there was me and two other women who had participated in it with me. So I actually had something that I could show the participants when we redid it this summer. So everyone who participated in it knew exactly what they were getting into. I felt very strongly that the photographs of the bare chest should not be shrouded in any way. The project is called Look Now Facing
Mm-hmm.
Breast Cancer. And I chose that title many, many years ago for that reason, that we have to look at each other and there's no shame in it. And so, like, when you come to the gallery, there are actually mirrors everywhere, so that visitors to the gallery not only look at the people on the walls, but they can look at themselves. So it was very thought out.
Mm-hmm. And you, of course, have been out in the world doing many projects. You have students and other faculty in this program, and now they have seen, your naked breasts, and I wonder what that's like.
Um, so to be honest, Nicole, I never wanted to do a nude photo show. So I feel that having the portrait with the clothes on, which is your public persona, juxtaposed with your private battle scars, a close up of your bare chest, somehow it's not the same as having a nude photograph of my upper body. I don't know how to explain it to you. I'm a professor, as you said. I stand in front of my students day in and day out. And so I really felt very strongly that it should not be a upper chest nude photo with my face attached to it.
I
Uh,
see. I see.
so
That's the difference, that it's just the breasts, and where your face is on a portrait, that, just so our listeners can understand, it's a beautiful portrait.
right.
Uh, and it's next to the photograph of just your torso.
Right, right. And so actually, I had done a photo shoot in February with Cindy Bell, the photographer, and we had done, a portrait of me with my clothes on, and then a portrait of me without my clothes, upper body.
Yes.
And seeing them next to each other, the photo with the clothes on became really redundant. And so, we had a lot of back and forth about it. I spoke to many of the people who had agreed to participate about how they felt about it. And everyone was very clear. They did not want a photo of their bare chest, with their face out and about. The
Hmm.
photographs are now everywhere, right? And they're on Facebook, for instance. And it's amazing to me, in a really good way, that Facebook is not taking them down.
Hmm.
And they're there, and people can, and everybody's up on the wall. I had everybody sign a release, saying that they were okay with having these photos online, or in any other medium.
Shared, yeah.
So now I do have to say, so we have 25 participants who've done the portrait and the bare chest photos. Two of those are men. But we also have 19 people, all women, who decided that they did not want their portrait to be taken. They did not want to go fully public, but they did let us photograph their bare chest anonymously. So
Hmm.
when you go into the gallery, there is, what we call the anonymous wall with photographs of bare chests without any names attached to it.
And I also saw that there was a memorial area of a woman who died during your project.
Yeah, so we found out while we were doing the project that one of our participants in the anonymous wall had a recurrence. She was actually in her late 30s, so she was not that old. And she had a sudden recurrence and passed away a few weeks later. Um, and just, the show was actually in the process of being installed when her mother called me, and she'd found my number in her emails, and she called me, and we spoke for a long time. And so the parents really wanted to acknowledge that their daughter had participated in the project. They felt very strongly that she should be named. So that is why we ended up dedicating the anonymous wall to her. And if you saw that, when you come into the gallery, her memorial card is, the parents have pasted it on the wall.
Hmm.
And the parents felt that, they're the next of kin, and they knew that their daughter would want to be named in it.
Hmm. What are you hoping people take away from this exhibit?
Um, Many different things.
Mm.
One, I really want people to go and see it. I think the biggest message that I have, or the participants really have, is that um, there's so much push for diagnosis. But once you're diagnosed with breast cancer, you sort of get lost in the system. And And there's not really an opportunity to talk about yourself or your body or your experiences as a survivor. Now, I do know that the word survivor is sort of problematic. I I have concerns about using it for myself, for instance. So, the pressure is really on for diagnosis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
But when after you're diagnosed, you sort of get lost in the system, and people don't have your information because they're rightly so. There are a lot of HIPAA laws and privacy laws, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And me and every other participant in the project really wanted to participate, to be there for people, for each other, but also for people who may be diagnosed in the future. I
So
know
there's
that.
a supportive aspect.
Yes, yes. So the supportive aspect and the empowerment is a really big part of the project. So if you remember, Nicole, I don't know what time you came into the gallery, but when we were doing the gallery talk, I spoke and then Cindy spoke, but then most of our participants who were there also got to share their stories.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe the project is about each and every person in the show, and it's not like a vanity project for me, for instance.
Mm-hmm. What was the energy like at the photo shoots? Can you describe that a little bit?
It was wonderful. We really tried to create a very safe and loving space for each person who came in. Cindy Bell, our photographer, had suggested to me very early on that we get somebody, a hair and makeup person.
Mm-hmm.
And my first reaction was, no, we don't do that in documentary slash journalism. But I think she was absolutely right because those studio lights are very harsh. And but in that process of having people come in, and we had them bring different outfits, so we could Cindy could choose what she thought would look best on camera. And the time spent with the hair and makeup people, Claire Lopez and Megan Reed, who did a wonderful job. We sort of, we made them comfortable. I also did a 30-minute interview with each person, uh, and which we will, edit and put up on our website later on as oral histories. So I think people really felt very comfortable by the time they went and got photographed and then had the bare chest photo taken.
So every person in that process had been a survivor, had had breast cancer. The photographer, you, the director, and the participants.
Yes, we're all survivors, yes.
And did you feel a certain bond, a certain connection because of that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think having all of us, yeah, definitely. As you know, a breast cancer diagnosis is like you're just like dumped into this new world, right? You suddenly have to learn all these terms. You have to figure out what kind of surgery you want and what kind of treatment, and who the
Mm-hmm.
oncologist is and the surgeon and the plastic surgeon, what kind of reconstruction, etc. So having been through that, I think it really made people much more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
um, I know that. So what happened was that when I was diagnosed with cancer in 2006, there was not so much online support and etc. at that time. In fact, Syracuse didn't really have any support groups. I remember calling the American Cancer Society, and they only had a support group that met in the fall. I was diagnosed in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to create my own support group with that. So it was very important for me to sort of create a place where people can share their stories and provide support for each other, but more for people in the future.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah, I'm sure you know there's a lot of controversy about the Komen Foundation. There's a lot of politics around why are people getting breast cancer. It's almost a rite of passage. And there's so many women being diagnosed, many of which have no risk factors that, they don't, smoke, they eat well, they do all the healthful habits. Do you Are you interested, or is that part of this journey for you, sort of the political aspect, what's happening environmentally, what's happening with corporations, or is that not in the purview of what you're trying to accomplish here?
Yeah, it definitely is. Very much in my plan. So the photo exhibition that's on right now at Point of Contact Gallery is only one part of it. I'm working on many other different elements, and so we will pursue those in different media. I'm very much a human rights activist,
Mm-hmm.
and one of my goals in doing this project is very much to talk about um, who gets diagnosed with cancer, what access to treatment they have, and what does that do to their prognosis. I'm keeping it very local to Central New York, and we will talk about all those things that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Some of those are difficult, though they're much deeper, right, societal issues than just even banding together and supporting one another, but maybe even looking further upstream. How does this become an international problem, and why is it happening with such regularity?
Right. I mean, definitely. And I mean, that is the question, right? Whether there is more breast cancer around, or whether there is better diagnosis, so more people are having it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is no easy answer to it. I do want to say that when I was going through cancer, as I said, I didn't have a lot of people I could connect with because of the times we were living in. I had a friend of a friend walk into my hospital room just after I'd had my double mastectomy. And, she lifted up her shirt and said, "Look at me and, feel
Mm.
me." And I was just completely under a sedation, but I understood what she was doing for me, and her kindness really shifted a lot of things for me. And so that's Linda Friedman, who actually participated with me in 2010, and then once again right now in 2018. So
Mm-hmm.
when I find out that like if a friend has been diagnosed, I will always, provide support. But one of the things I regularly do is say, "Do you want to feel me or touch me or look at me?"
Oh my goodness.
And I know that many of the participants in the project do the same thing, uh,
Uh-huh.
because that is the one thing that is such a mystery. Is should you have reconstruction? What kind of reconstruction? Why reconstruction? Because I do feel that society is so focused on breasts that people are not really given a choice to go flat, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that we're sort of pushed into having fake breasts. Now, I'm happy with my fake breasts. I very consciously decided to get them. My implants leaked 9 years later, and in 2015, I had them replaced. Um, and but now, if something happens to the set I have now, I'm not going through that again.
Mm,
Um,
it's so interesting. I don't know if you recall this, but you actually get a little warranty, right? Am I remembering that correctly? Or that
I
might have been for the port.
I think you get a warranty
Like,
for both. And
yeah.
actually, if they leak and the surgeon has to replace them, it's all free. You don't have to pay for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Do you have any thoughts? And I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it publicly, but the whole pink ribbon campaign. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, I hate it. I've always hated it. And to be honest, I think it's getting better now. I remember when I was in the late 2000s, recently having gone through breast cancer and walking into Wegmans, and everything was pink, from
Mm.
Campbell's soup
Mm.
to pretzels to everything. Um, but I think things are better now, and it's not so much in your face.
Why? Can you talk a little bit? It's sometimes it's hard to explain, I think, to the general public why the pink campaign can be offensive. Can you put some words to it? How is it for you?
I just felt it was trivializing my experience, and that
Mm-hmm.
I should not be reduced to 1 month or to a color or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and it's sort of um, brought back the trauma of treatment when when I would go through Wegmans in
Mm.
October. Um, uh, but when I was working on this project and working with my graphic designer to come up with the logo, we talked a lot about the color and what color to use. And we did use pink, but I would say we tried to really use a very vibrant pink because you got to reclaim it. I could not use, let's say, blue for a project on breast cancer because it's become such a shorthand, and that's what people look for, and that's what people recognize.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm. You had
just
to work with it.
I had to work with it. And like
Mm-hmm.
when you if you look at our catalog that we've done for the show, when you open up the centerfold, it's 44 bare chests in there. So we've reclaimed the centerfold.
Mm. Oh,
And
how interesting.
yeah, so you got to fight back.
Hmm. I love that. Reclaim the centerfold. That sounds like a great title. Is this a project that's been particularly meaningful for you? I mean, you've done so much great work with human rights. Is this one that feels different to you?
Yeah, this project is different because it's very personal, and I'm using my body physically and metaphorically to bring awareness about a topic, to give voice to others, and to, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Are there any thoughts or words you'd like to leave our listeners with?
The Look Now project is really about empowerment, about inspiration, about support for survivors, for people being diagnosed in the future or going through treatment right now. But the truth of the matter is that breast cancer is a fatal disease. Many of us survive, but many of us don't. And I do want to honor everyone who may have passed away from it or may have stage 4 cancer right now. And the society needs to find a cure for it. And awareness and treatment are great, but we need to figure out how to stop it.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And where can people find more information about you and your project?
So the project, we have a website. It's called looknowproject.org that you can access. We're also on Facebook as Look Now Project, and
Okay.
and also on Instagram as Look Now Project.
Okay.
People can just Google my name and my my Syracuse University profile should show up. Uh,
Okay,
I'm
that
I'm I'm working on a website for myself, but it hasn't happened yet.
I would hope that you'd have a lot of people around you that could help you with that.
Yeah, yeah, everybody's busy with their own things.
I
I mean,
see.
this project has taken a long time. I'm eternally grateful to the Newhouse School. I have a Newhouse Endowed Chair that has given me a reduced teaching load and funds for the project, and that's how it was, possible for me to do it. I'm a professor. My first primary job is to teach students, and this is part of my research.
Have you had students come up to you and talk to you about this project?
Not, I mean, over the years, students have known that I had breast cancer, or, I'm a breast cancer survivor. So people do come and talk to me regularly about their mother or their grandmother, going through treatment or things like that. The show just opened on Thursday. So I'm really hoping that people will go to the gallery. It's on till October 31st. The gallery is in Syracuse at 350 West Fayette Street. It's open from 12 to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. You can just walk in. You don't need to make a reservation. It's free. Please go and help spread the word.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this work. It is so important. And just to open it up to talk about, because it is a private journey, and it can be so full of shame and fear and uncertainty. And just to provide a space to talk about people's fears. Maybe they haven't even experienced this, but just we know it's out there and this is what it looks like. And here's a space to talk about it. I think is just so valuable.
Yes, thank you. It is an intense show for 100%, and that's exactly what it is. Like when you walk by somebody, you don't know what they've gone through and what their journey has been. And, I really wanted to put a face on it. Now, what's so interesting is that I was at the gallery on Saturday and I was counting the number of people who had had nipple tattoos. And, there was about 9 out of the 25 who've had nipple tattoos. And I wish that I'd thought about including that in the description of their treatment. Because when you look at them, it seems, wow, so what if they have silicone implants or whatever else? It looks sort of normal, but
Like Barbie, a
like,
little bit.
right. And some of them are very perky and whatever else, but it's all an illusion.
The other thing I would say, and this is probably beyond the scope of your work, but then there's lymphedema, and then there's things that your lymph system doesn't quite work properly because things don't drain. So sometimes people get more puffy ankles, more fluid, so there's even though it was a very long time for me, I find that there's still physical repercussions to having, a bilateral mastectomy.
I 100% agree with you. You never go back to being normal in quotes, whatever that is. Yeah. And in so in the photo exhibition, we were not able to include everything, but I'm hoping that on our website and in the oral histories, some of that will get covered.
Thank you so much, Tula, and good luck to you with this project.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on Zestful Aging. If you like the podcast, please share with some of your friends. I love to hear from my listeners. Send me an email at NicoleChristina.com. And please consider becoming a patron of the show. You will get access to exclusive bonuses, and you will be part of the Zestful Aging community. Keep us going strong. Go to patreon.com/zestfulaging. See you next time for another episode of Zestful Aging.